Hi, I'm Lisa Raquel, and we just wrapped up an amazing women empowerment shoot. We call it the Crown Adjustment Shoot because this shoot was all about inspiring other Black queens like ourselves and uplifting each other. So make sure you guys adjust your crown and follow us at MediaGirlsNetwork.com.
Welcome to the Media Girls Network!
But without further ado, I'm going to let's see if that worked, because technology been giving me issues all. Okay, let's see, guys. Let's see if it works. Okay.
Sure. Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Yeah, listen,
we are
it's
in there
already,
now.
the beginning of the year, tried to do something with, how that go, but I had other plans. Okay.
Trust me, I get it.
I
get
Happy
it.
New
I
Year.
get it.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year.
So, guys, without further
Thank
ado,
you.
Miss LaLa Shepard is in the building. How are Yes. So,
Okay.
how are you doing at the beginning of 2023 so far? Like, what is your mental state like?
I feel great. My birthday is right behind Christmas, and then that's when the music business kind of shuts down. So I always get a time to just refresh, rejuvenate. I got to spend time with my family back home. I'm originally from Ohio, so
I'm doing good.
I feel great. How are you?
I'm very optimistic about the year. Like I said, I think at the end of the year, everybody kind of gets to wind down and just kind of reflect, and then also make plans for what they want to be their goals for next year. So I'm super energetic, super positive, super optimistic. Right. I mean, look at my first interview of the year. It's when LaLa Shepard. Okay, like if that's not a telltale sign of what it's gonna be, I don't know what it is. So, LaLa, I've met you a couple of times. I feel like your energy is always so pure and nice. My first question is, how do you not let such a, and I hate to say this, but like a dark industry not taint who you are as a person, and just like keep your energy positive?
That's a great question. I try to keep myself as grounded as possible.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn, so we're earth signs. So I just try to stay grounded. Just remind myself, why did I get in this business? And just always, remind myself of the bigger picture. And really it's just my family and friends, my community of support, the people that pour into me, always bring me back to, wholeness. Really, because this business isn't for the weak apart, but it's really my community. They help keep me grounded, and just my dog really too. He helps keep me grounded as well. As
it doesn't. I'm a firm mom too, so
okay, yeah, you
come home to people who actually are excited to see you, right?
Exactly.
So before we get into like the steak and potatoes of this interview, let's start with the beginnings of LaLa and growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio. Talk a little bit about how growing up in Ohio kind of solidified your foundation and your character as.
Absolutely. Well, Cincinnati is always home. Cincinnati, we in the Midwest, so we get the best of all worlds, really. We're heavily influenced by the South, music wise. But you know, we listen to everything. We got a lot of great reps in the Midwest as well too. But I've always loved music. And just growing up, my mom and dad always allowed me to be a free spirit. Whatever I wanted to do, they supported that. Never discouraged my dreams. I always saw myself being a music journalist, and nobody ever told me that it wasn't possible. And I had a great childhood. Have a little sister that's 10 years younger than me. So, you know, before I was the only child, but then, you know, when she came around, I had to, you know, learn that I was a leader, and I had to, you know, lead by example. So that gave me a lot of responsibility. But my childhood was awesome, you know, just like every other kid that grew up in the 90s. I played outside. That shaped me a lot, you know, learned a lot of stuff outside. And, you know, but I had a great childhood.
Awesome. So awesome. Now out of your childhood, you went to college, you studied journalism, all that stuff. In your, I saw an interview you did with Off the Porch where you talked about moving to Atlanta. You felt like God had put that in your heart. What does a calling like that from God feel like? And how do you know that's him telling you it's time for you to build your legacy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I always was good at school. So, you know, going through the motions of school was just easy, and that's just what I was taught to do from my mom. And, you know, it was just one of those things. I had no reason not to do well in school. I got scholarships and stuff like that for the most part. So it was just second nature. I really didn't know nothing else. I wasn't taught about entrepreneurship, because if I was, I probably wouldn't have went to college, to be honest. Just being real. But you know, school wasn't easy. College wasn't a walk in the park for me. It was a challenge. I just was good at it. You know, I was always organized, is what I should say. So I just knew when it was like said and done, I didn't feel like it was time for me to get a job at home. It just felt like, you know, I needed to do something else. And it was just in my heart. You know, I was just grinding hard that whole summer, and God just talked to me. It was just like, you know, you need to be in Atlanta for what you want to do. And I, you know, it just felt right. I can't even describe it other than just saying it felt right. So I reached out to a few producers on Twitter. A lot of those guys I'm still really close with to this day, and just, you know, asked them like, I need an assistant, anything, let me get on in the door. So God just told me to do it, and I just trusted that. I trusted it. I knew once I graduated school, wasn't nothing else that really held me back. And I did that for my mom, really, to graduate school, because I remember that graduation was on a Mother's Day. So it was just like it was a beautiful day. Everything was perfect about it. So I said, you know, I want to do something for me, even if it didn't work out right away. I just wanted to do it, so then I could at least say that I tried. So it was just as simple as that. Like, it was just real heavy on my heart. And I just remember telling my best friend, like, man, I think I'm about to move to Atlanta. So
I know you spoke about just growing up with music and that just kind of being like your surroundings, kind of like second nature to you. But what was the moment you really knew like music and media was your calling?
The moment. That's a great question. I mean, to be honest, I've always, like in high school, I always was that person making the CDs, burning CDs and making them for my friends, or making them for me. Like, and I think really when I started driving, like at 16, I'm listening to the songs, how I'm putting it together. I got people in my car like, dang, this, you know what I mean? Like, where you get this song from? So it was a mixture of that. And you know, before the internet was like super popular, I was always on the internet reaching out to different people on MySpace, and just how easy it was to get in contact with these big people, whether it was music video directors, just anybody that I looked up to. They would always respond back to me, and I'm like, yo, something is going on. Like, it felt right. I would always look up internships. I didn't even understand what an internship was when I was like, even before college. I was always proactive about looking stuff up online, and it just all kind of made sense when I was a teenager. Like, it just felt like something gonna happen. I just didn't know how or when, where, or whatever, but I just knew it was. I just knew it was possible. Like, it just felt right.
Y'all listening out there, these are some real gems. So let's talk about moving to Atlanta, right? Because I feel like people don't understand Atlanta especially the strip club culture, right? With strip club culture, I think people just think, oh, you're going to the strip club, you're there to see dancers, you're there to throw music, money. But people don't know that a lot of artists use the strip club to their advantage to get their records broke, to get, to gain momentum, to build their name. And you kind of did that trying at the start of your career, kind of going to the strip club and saying, let me see what I can do here. And that turned something amazing. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, the strip club. I mean, myself, I didn't know. The first time I came to Atlanta as an adult by myself was with my best friend. We had just made a trip down like maybe a week or so before I was gonna move down, and we went to the strip club strictly to have fun. So that was my first time. It was just amazing, just seeing what these women could do, and I didn't know what to expect. So it was crazy. But when I moved to Atlanta, that first or second week, I met DJ Funky, Coalition DJ CEO, and I was just sitting at the bar at Struckers. I wasn't even mindful of thinking like this is a place of business. I just happened to be there. Like I said, this all God moving me into the right places at the right time. Like, why was I there? You know what I mean? And I didn't realize it was a business until like I asked him. I'm like, the guy that I'm sitting next to, he like, I'm telling him what I want to do. He like, you need to go talk to the DJ, talk to DJ Funky. And then he was just like, all right, we'll pull up tonight. And, we was kind of working together ever since then. But just seeing DJ Funky, what he was doing, he was controlling the vibe first and foremost with the music. I'm seeing the girls come up to him, having a relationship, not, nothing else, but just, they just, how you doing, checking in, whatever. And then I'm paying attention. I'm seeing these artists come in, whether they people I know or not. I'm seeing these managers come in, Funky put me on game, like that so-and-so manager, that so-and-so PR. So I'm just soaking it all up. I'm getting all their contacts, most importantly. I'm introducing myself. I'm letting them know, like, this is who I am. You need to know me too. And I'm just seeing it like it's a place of business, and just eventually going to all the other strip clubs, building relationships with all the other DJs. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm seeing this business meetings, happening too. And then just talking to the girls there, just paying attention to how they got clientele. And, it's a whole thing going on. Even when I started to have meetings with people that wanted to, invest in a PR services with me, like we meeting at the strip club. Cause, I'm trying to show them, like, what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get your record played. You build a relationship with these girls. These girls is popular. So you need to make sure you tip these girls. Build with the bartenders, and it's all a relationship type business. And the dancers, they A&Rs too, so it's like you got to make sure you know the girls, or at least you got a relationship with them, because if they requesting the music, then it sounds better coming from them than just a stranger. And if you're a stranger, you better have some money to tip these girls and the DJ. So I'm just learning it all. I'm just really just sitting back, observing, and just seeing what's going on. And of course, just being in the strip clubs, of course, is very distracting, but you gotta, remember what you're doing there and what's, what the goal is too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now y'all can't use the excuse, I'm having business meeting at the strip club. You're not having business meetings at the strip club. No, that's real.
Right.
So, like I said, I've been following you for a while now, and I actually got to hear you speak on a panel over the summer. Did the Waffles Weekend panel, and you spoke a little bit about just a very small stint in your life where you had a little bit of a rough time, sleeping in your car and stuff, but you were able to pull yourself out of that, and you never lost sight of your vision. How did you maintain such a positive attitude in that time, and what drove you to keep working towards your vision?
A great question. I mean, I've never been a quitter. So like, no matter how hard things ever got, I never, like, quitting was never an option. Honestly, it just wasn't. I never was just like, dang, I just gotta stop, because I know me. Like, if there's something that's on my heart and on my mind, I have to do it, or it's gonna just drive me crazy. So whenever it's on my heart and mind, I gotta do it. And people just gotta have that passion. Like, I was fortunate enough. Like, I always tell people, if you have a passion, you are very fortunate, because everybody does not have a passion. You just got to figure out what it is. And music for me just always been my passion, like ever since I was a teenager. So it wasn't an option to quit, and then just hearing other people's stories about how they had to do certain things, certain sacrifices to get where they needed to go. I knew it was possible. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I didn't think it was going to be a cakewalk. And also too, just seeing the progress that I did make by having these relationships with certain people. Like I just couldn't just give up. I knew it was going to be a way. And I just always believed that. I just knew it was going to get better. Like I just had to lay down on bricks and put down that foundation, because it built character. Like I'm glad I went through those things. I'm glad it wasn't a walk in the park, because if it was, I wouldn't have appreciated everything. I really wouldn't have. So I had to go through that to like appreciate
Absolutely,
everything else.
absolutely. So speaking of progress, let's talk the progress report. uh, how did the progress report come about?
Absolutely. So, I mean, during that dark time, it was a lot going on in these Atlanta streets. It was a dark time, dark space for me at that particular time. If you know, you know. And I just knew I had a lot of relationships built, and I just didn't want those relationships to go to waste, because I'm always thinking the long term longevity. I'm not thinking about right now. I'm always thinking about the future. So I'm like, how can I, show these folks I got relationships with these people, the Sunny Digitals to whoever, I got plenty of relationships with people that I, work with. How can I capitalize off of that? And I'm like, all right, I gotta start doing some interviews. I gotta do something. Like I gotta get this recorded. I gotta do it. Like, even if it was a thing that was for myself eventually, where like not even a YouTube, like just so I can just remember that point in my life, because I like create memories. So it was just as simple as that. And then I'm sitting in my first apartment. I'm just going through a lot, but I'm just sitting there, just writing down in my notebook. I'm writing down different names, and I really wish I had this notebook, and I might somewhere, but I was just writing down different names. Nothing felt right until the progress report, because I wrote it down. I'm like, I want something that's unisex. I don't even know where it came from. It just that's God. You know what I mean? Like it was just God, putting that in my heart, and it just felt good. Like I liked the name. I liked that it was unisex. You didn't think it was just a girl or a guy, because I wanted to be able to compete in a space amongst my peers, and, mostly guys, but I just wanted it to fit. So, I told my mom about it. She was like, "It's cool," and I'm like, "Nah, this it. This it. I like this name." I see my mom on here too. Hi, Mom. So, okay. But it was definitely, it just felt good. It just felt good. Made sure the thing wasn't used by anybody else, of course. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, this
that's awesome. I feel like the progress report, it's become a staple in like Black culture and hip hop and music and more, right? People often wonder, how do you build something of a platform like that, right? So we always hear consistency is key, work hard, be dedicated, have a passion. But you give us specific steps on how you built relationships. How do you get in those rooms to even meet those people, so that we can all, create some words of a platform or whatever people want to do in their life?
Yeah, absolutely. You got great questions. Yeah. I mean, I would just say it's just everything. Just keep in mind, like with everybody on here, you are a walking, talking representation of yourself and your brand. And like from day one, I always treated myself with respect. I always moved with respect. Even when I was going through my hard time, I still had great relationships. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you know, you know. And I'm not gonna go into too much detail about what was going on, but people that know what's going on. And I just always treated myself with respect. So no matter what was said about anything, I just always had great relationships because I showed respect to others. I treated people good, and that goes a long way. It's really as simple as that. But then on the other side of it too, you got to be organized. You got to be disciplined. You got to have a vision. So writing down your goals for every month, like I said, I'm super organized. So, you just got to be on top of it. Like you know, if you want to interview a certain person or talk to a certain person, if you got a media platform, you know, write it down, manifest it, make it happen, be creative, be proactive, you know, don't just try to talk to the artist, try to talk to the manager, build a relationship with the PRs, because as a manager and as a PR, we gonna always be around. You know, it might not be the same artist, but what I realized, a lot of these managers are gonna always be around. So I'm building relationships with the people behind the scenes. You know, you got to pay attention to the people that don't say too much too. You know who is on these people's team, and really build relationships outside of the superstar person. Yeah, and just you know, just invest in yourself, you know, get the equipment you need. I didn't know how to edit, I didn't know how to film, I didn't know how to do none of that. You know, that's why if y'all look at my very first interviews, they look crazy. They long, they super long. I was asking every question. It wasn't no flow, but I started at least, you know, I started somewhere, and you just got to start. And it's like, you know, I'm saying that to say, don't overthink it. Like, just do it and you'll get better as you keep doing it. But, you know, be a proactive learner. You got free resources such as YouTube University, Google, you know, and you gotta look at your leaders, like, for people that you look up to. You know, if you don't have a mentor, you got to find them mentors online, and like, just be real creative, you know. And yeah, and consistency is key. You know, one thing I will say, I know, you know, it is cliche, but consistency is everything. And a lot of people gave me interviews because they saw how consistent I was. Like, I was outside. I was super outside, you know, putting up the stickers and let me get a drop for the progress report. I was always consistent. Stay in your business, you know, especially as a female, you got to stay in your business. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Show respect. You're going to get respect. And that's what I would say.
So I hope y'all wrote that. Somebody write that down for me too, because I can't write. I could go back and review this. So I'm glad you brought up being a female too in this industry, right? Because obviously as females, we have it a lot harder. This is a male-dominated industry. There's no denying that. But you have an all-female hosting cast with you, from Boss Bridge. Shout out to Boss Bridge. Ever.
Absolutely.
Was that intentional? And how do you navigate in spaces as a female in this male dominated industry, when you want to keep your integrity, you want to keep your respect, but you want to work hard and you want to get what you deserve?
I'll answer the second part first. It's really about just remembering why y'all started, ladies. Like, I'll say this, like, I just know how dudes are. I know how dudes talk. I work with a lot of guys. I like working with guys. I really do. I like working with females that are positive. And from my experience, it hasn't been too many females that have been real and hasn't been like that embraced me, to be honest. You know, it's a lot of great females out there. And I'm not saying everybody, but from early on, it was always the guys that embraced me. And so it was just easy to work with them. But at that same time, I heard how these guys would talk about certain females. And I see the difference when a guy respects a female versus when they don't. So it's like, as a female, you got to remember, you know, you got to think with your mind, you know, and just know that these dudes is talking. They probably talking way more than us. You know what I'm saying? So I just always felt like, man, y'all got to respect me. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care how attracted I am to anybody. Like, we have to make sure we're here for business. It just is what it is. I need you to respect me. And you got to always keep that in mind as a female. Make sure these folks respect you. Like, put everything else to the side, you know, because in this business, it's a lot of smoking, drinking, it's a lot of partying. It is what it is. But stay focused. You got to stay focused. And I just always wanted to stay focused because I always wanted my respect. Like, that was the most important thing to me. Like, is y'all got to respect me. It's nothing else that I wanted but the respect. So it starts there, and that's how I was able to maneuver. And you know, like I said, I showed love to everybody. I mean, I respected anybody that was doing stuff before me. I always showed everybody respect. I think I literally interviewed everybody in terms of like the music circle, because I thought it was important to show people, you know, let me give you your flowers, you know. Even if you typically ain't the person in front of the camera, let me interview you because I respect you. I see what you're doing. So I think, you know, a lot of doors open up because people saw that I was a student of the game, still a student of the game to this day. And that's how that happened. But just moving with respect is everything as a female, and just don't do too much. Like, you know, like I said, I know my limit. I know when I drink too much. I know when I may have spoke too much or whatever. Like, so just know your limits, and just know how to handle that at a party. Like, when it's time to stop, you need to stop, you know? And in terms of us having an all female, like a lot of the people on our team are females, but we got some guys in there. But in terms of the host, it wasn't intentional. It was not intentional. It was a vibe thing. I met me and Boss Britt are actually both from the same city. We both from Cincinnati, Ohio. But she's always been doing party promotion and stuff like that. I would pop out to parties, but I'm not like a party person. I'm chill in the cut, you know. I'm vibing out, like, but I ain't in the spotlight. That I've never been that person. So we knew each other. It was like a mutual respect, but we didn't hang out in Cincinnati. But me and Excel met through Hood Affairs, and it was just like, since I looked up to them, I'm like, she must be somebody important, you know. And I just loved her vibe. She was just always on top of it, just hungry, just like me. And I respected that, and I thought she was pretty. So I'm like, I like her element. She can add something to it. And then with Boss Britt, she moved down to Atlanta, and she hit me up. She was just like, I want to be a part of the podcast. And I always respected her grind. And I just thought, you know, Britt can add something to it, like just a dope vibe. She was always a vibe. So I'm like, let's do it. So it was just a no-brainer. And we just been building ever since, because we was all like-minded. We was all trying to progress, essentially. And I always made it clear, like, I might not be able to do this and this for y'all right away, but the goal is to make sure that we're a hub, a community that can help each other with opportunities. And as long as y'all understand that, then we can rock and roll. Yep.
Okay, so what's your favorite interview of all time from the Progress Report?
Oh, I mean, you know, I love to do what I do, so they all important to me. But I got 3 favorites. So I would say OJ the Juice Man. That's my guy. He's such a sweetheart, one of my favorite artists, and just so humble. Like, and he was probably one of my first big interviews, and he didn't even have to come, and he came, and I was just like, damn, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I was just so shocked how simple it was, and just how dope he was. But our second interview we did, it went viral. It made it to Double XL, so that was such a big moment. So I love OJ, and I'm always gonna give him his flowers whenever I can. So that one. Second favorite would be Webby, because I love Webby. And with him, he on my wall somewhere too. But with him, he invited me to his house twice, and you know, it was nothing but respect. It was nothing but respect. And you know, despite all the crazy stuff y'all hear about him, he is crazy, but he a cool guy. Like, he said, you know, pull out your camera, you can record anything. It was just like, man, another moment where it's like, damn, I'm listening to you as a team. So you really making my dreams come true, and you treat me with respect. That make it that much better. And then my third would be Diamond from Cry Mile, because you couldn't tell me I wasn't Diamond when I was a teenager. I thought I was Diamond, you know. So, and she was so sweet, and that just meant a lot. All my friends and my family that know me know I love Diamond. So for her to actually be who I thought she was like beautiful, because there's been times I've met people where I'm like, damn, you ain't who I thought you were, you know, or at least we didn't have the best interaction, but Diamond was sweet. So those 3 for sure be my favorite.
Love all of them. So you're a music journalist, right? We talk about journalism, especially now. I think everybody, the journalism term is being thrown around and loose all the time, right? Like, everybody wants to be a journalist. Everybody thinks that their podcast is a journalism space. What are your takes on where you see journalism going, like, in the next couple of years?
Good question. I think, you know, I think that's a great question, because I remember I thought I was gonna have a magazine, and that was like traditional journalism. And I saw that kind of dying out, because I'm like, well, people are moving to a digital space. But now it's like I still appreciate, like, I subscribe to Essence. I love getting Essence magazines. Like, I just love the physical copy of magazines, and it's a whole bunch of other ones. Big Break magazine. It's a whole bunch of great magazines too. So I always envision myself having an actual magazine. But when I thought about it, like in terms of how long it takes to print, just the whole process, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. So digital always just made sense for me personally. I think, yeah, a lot of people are using the title freely, but I, I get it. I get it. I think, I get why people can try to call themselves journalism. I don't want to discredit anybody, but at the same time, I think, being a journalist is really doing your research and really like taking your time to get to know the subject of what you're talking about. Like when I do interviews, it's not, I can't just get ready for it in an hour. Like it's like if I'm really, especially when it's somebody of a high caliber, like it takes me weeks, days, to really study this person, because like you got to learn their mannerisms and everything like that. So to me, that's what I thought made a journalist, and I still stand by that. And I think with just the scope of everything changing, everything moving to the digital age, the definition is changing. So in terms of where it's going, it, it's different. It's different forms of journalism now, and I respect it. But I still stand by the fact you gotta really do your research. You gotta be credible too. And I think that's why it's big for me when these, like, some of our interviews go viral, like having that credibility. When we get posted by the Hip Hop DX's
Yeah.
Double XL, now I'm credible, and that's important to me to have that credibility. But I mean, listen, I respect it. It's just what's going on nowadays. It's all new. A lot of this stuff is new. It's we shaping the future really. So I'm not mad at it. It's just I still don't know how I feel about it, but I respect what's going on, I suppose.
Great media training.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the things one of the many things I admire about you and your platforms and your journey is you give people the opportunity to tell their stories. Now, I feel like with Atlanta though, we're in a little bit of a weird time where a lot of our artists are leaving this earth before they get to tell their stories. We just lost Takeoff, Big Scar, Trouble, just to name. You actually took the time though to give us a segment on Fridays called Fresh Fridays, which commemorates of the late rapper Bankroll Fresh. So shout out to him and East. He was just like about to take off the untimely death of his. Why do you think it's so important for your platform to have this space for artists to come on and have things to look back on? And what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna do this for Bankroll Fresh? Like, this is what I'm gonna do. I got footage. I know people. What was the mindset behind that?
Well, first, thank you for recognizing that, because that's big. And I mean, and this is the other part of it too with this business. Like last year was an emotional roller coaster, and like I still like I'm really empathetic. So like half of me is like really hurt when I think about how many people that we lost. Like it's just like when I think about Trouble not being there for his kids, or Dolph not being there for his kids, even with Bankroll, like that really breaks my heart, and it makes me not want to like be a part of music sometimes. But it's like I love it so much, I could never not do it. Like, it's just it's like it's an addiction. I could never not do it. And I also know my responsibilities with this, so I have to do it. With Bankroll, he was an artist that just embraced me. Like I remember pulling up to Street Exec Studios, and he would just always embrace me. That's the first time I met Hood Affairs too. And I just was always a fan of his music. Like I just liked how Bankroll Fresh like moved. You know, he was in the streets. We are always running to each other. We are always running to each other at the strip clubs, the studios, just all the time. And it's like, you know, when you keep seeing a person, it's like, damn, we got to work. And, you know, I would always say that to him. I wouldn't press him for an interview. I just wanted to work with him. I didn't necessarily want to interview. I just wanted to work with him because I believed in him. And, you know, at first he wasn't trying to he wasn't trying to work. He didn't know what I was trying to do. He like, what? Like, and then he kept seeing me. He like, all right, let's work. Let's do it. So, you know, from after that, he just invited me to every session. You know, Travis Porter there, just whoever. I'm meeting a lot of people through Bankroll Fresh. And it was always a vibe. He made everybody feel comfortable. I just will never forget those moments. Like we used to, like if you wasn't a street exec during that time, like I just felt like you wasn't really working, like because everybody was there, everybody, every producer, every artist, everybody was at street execs at the time. And I mean, I just really liked Bankroll Fresh. I liked everybody around him. I just respected what he had going on. And you know, shout out to Street Money Bucci and you know, just everybody on his team that kept his legacy going. I got 217, a producer. I think Bucci started the Fresh Fridays. And you know, I thought it was a great idea. I'm like, okay, cool, let's just keep this going. And you know, just seeing how the people like on Instagram, especially our Facebook, they love it. They love just the post, like just the engagement on the post. That's why I'm like, oh, we can't stop. We gotta always do this every Friday. And it's like, I mean, I wish I could do it for all the artists that pass. You know, we do something for Nipsey on Mondays, do Marathon Mondays, of course, but it's just crazy. It's so many artists that we lost, and it's really sad too. Like it's, you know, it's like I said, it's real emotional. So when we create these posts, it's like, damn, like, you know, it's really emotional. But it's just something that we was meant to do. We had to do it. You know, that's just what it is. Just our
Absolutely.
We got to keep that legacy going.
So what's next for the Progress Report? Congratulations, by the way, on Revolt TV. I mean, that's huge. That's amazing.
Thank you.
But what else do you see for the Progress Report?
Yeah, more great content, more great original content. We just want to continue to have conversations with artists and producers and entrepreneurs that we feel compelled to. So y'all can expect more great content. We're gonna do more all-female ciphers. You know, we do that every year. In addition to that, of course, just more original segments too. We got Blaster Trash Live with DJ Excel. I have a segment called Skipping Class. You know, Boss Britt has a segment called Lunch Table Talk. So just more segments, more original content, and just more everything, really, just more collaborations too. Just everything, man. I just never know what's next, you know, but I'm just taking it all in. I'm just following my heart and just doing what feels good every time. So whenever I do that, you know, great things.
I have two more questions. My second to last question is, one of the things that I noticed in your interview off the porch was Boss Britt and DJ XL, like their personalities are so large, and you're like, okay, guys, like, you know, you're at, I have a podcast coming with a young, and our personalities mesh so well, like there's a balance, but we're able to shine as our own individual selves. How did y'all manage to do that? Because it was great to watch you guys work, and I'm sure when people watch the Progress Report, it's like, okay, everybody sees that balance, but how do you know, allow for other people to get their shine while also not for light?
Great questions, girl. You killing it. Now that's the real journalist, y'all. I mean, to be honest, like it's respect. You know, that's a big word to me, like, because I respect them. Like, I love what they do, and they throw the biggest all-girl parties, and I'm always gonna preach that. Like, man, y'all better party with them, whether y'all like girls or you don't. But even guys, like, I done had some of my hood friends pull up. You know, I done had just everybody pull up, clients, whatever. It's always a good time, and just the personalities. Like, it's that same energy at their parties. And I respect them. Like, I respect the value that they bring to the Progress Report, first and foremost. They like their perspective on things is way different from mine. Like I'm real straightforward. Let's get this business done. Let's handle the business. Then we out. You know, with them, it's like, all right, cool. Like let's lighten it up a little bit. You know, and let's have a little bit more fun. Just because, like again, Capricorns, we just serious people. So I appreciate how they can, you know, lighten up the load sometimes for me. And just, you know, just what they got going on for them to build up their own thing. Like they parties are huge, and they don't just party in Atlanta. They do parties everywhere. They got their own podcast now too, called the No Homo Podcast. So they going crazy. So it's you know, I just like being around people that are always doing something. Like they don't wait on me to make anything happen. They do their own thing, and I really like that. You know, I think that's huge. So it's never a situation where I feel like I gotta dim my light, and vice versa. We just naturally flow. Like, you know, we joke on each other. It's just a mutual respect, because we actually friends outside of work, you know. And if something was to ever happen where we had a disagreement, like I would make sure my friends are good before I'm worried about
Absolutely.
the business, you know.
And my last question is, obviously you have a lot going on. There's the progress report, of course. There's coalition DJs. There's you doing your PR. You do social media managing. You do all of these things. But what does the LaLa Shepard legacy look like?
Like I'm blessed. I do what I love to do every day. I think, you know, just to be an entrepreneur and be able to work for myself means everything to me. And so I want to just keep doing that. Like I want to just keep collaborating with people that are like-minded. Like I want to keep making plays for my brand, the Progress Support Media Group. I want to keep building with like-minded individuals, you know, just pushing my artists to greatness, and, you know, just keep defining my own definition of success. And success is just making sure I'm happy, I'm comfortable. I can go see my family whenever I want to see my family. I can go travel, you know, and whenever I want to travel, I can do what I want to do. And to me, I'm very satisfied with that. So I just pray that I can always continue that. I can continue to live the life that I want to live with purpose. I hope that I continue to inspire people. I pray that I continue to be inspired, you know. So for me, my legacy is just making sure that I do everything that's in my heart. And as long as I'm doing that, then Absolutely. I am totally content.
Listen, you have to let me up on you sometime, LaLa. Like, so
sure.
You know, but
Absolutely.
This was an amazing interview. It's so funny, guys, and I don't want to get too preachy, but listen to when I say, like, God has a way of working things out. Like I said, I met you months ago, and I always said, like, okay, I'm going to interview her one day. I do something today where when the interview came up, I wouldn't have been able to make it, but changed, and God was, and I'm here.
We so in here.
I always say, like, you know, like, listen to people's stories, testimonies. If I can do it, y'all can do it, and you are living proof that nothing can stop you. So thank you. If you want to tell everybody like where they could follow you, you know, check out the podcast, all of that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, girl, you killed it. I love your questions. You killed it. But yeah, y'all could just follow me on all social media platforms. It's all the same. It's LaLa Shep with 2 A's. It's LaLaAShep. You know, the website is tprmediagroup.com, but y'all can DM me. I respond back to my DMs, all that good stuff. And then April, if you can, make this a collab post, and then I'll post it on my page.
Absolutely. Well, LaLa, thank you so much again. Guys, you follow Media Girls Network, of course. And then you can also follow me on my personal page, which is it's April B __, spelled exactly like it sounds. Listen, we have interviews like this and stuff going on all the time. So make sure y'all just tap in with us, tap in with LaLa, and we will see you guys in the next interview. LaLa, have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you.
Hi, I'm Jalisa Raquel, and we just wrapped up an amazing women empowerment shoot. We call it the Crown Adjustment Shoot because this shoot was all about inspiring other Black queens like ourselves and uplifting each other.
Hey.
So make sure you guys adjust your crown and follow us at MediaGirlsNetwork.com.
Welcome to the Media Girls Network.
You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The Media Network, that's the best by far.